This is Mario Guzman, along with his brother Jose Guzman. The defendants are out on bond at pretrial hearing in Louisville, Kentucky. Mario's wife, Samantha Ayala, is also present, sitting behind the defense table. On this particular day, the Commonwealth is asking to increase Mario's bond due to new charges including second-degree burglary, tampering with evidence, and possession of marijuana. The offenses are a violation of his bond agreement, according to the prosecution. Hearing the motion is Judge Mary Shaw. The plaintiff says,
"In your order, it specifically says no further violations of the law. He picked up new charges. He violated the law."
In contrast, the defense says that the bond should not be raised because the burglary charge is negligible, since the victim left town.
They don't have the victim because he left town because he's a drug dealer.
The defense argues that the bond is too high, in response to the Commonwealth raising it from $500 to $15,000.
I mean, we might as well say $100,000 full cash, Judge. It's an amount that Mr. Guzman can't post. That's not the purpose of bond. The purpose of bond is to make sure that someone comes to court.
The judge is ready to announce her decision after disputing prior testimony. She announces,
"I agree. New charges obviously have been picked up. Current bond is not appropriate. It will be $5,000 full cash."
If Guzman is unable to provide the new amount, he will be sent to jail. As he awaits trial, a bailiff is ready to take Guzman away, but he has other ideas. Guzman makes a desperate attempt to break through the door. His brother, Jose Guzman, pleads with the judge for help. Samantha was devastated after the deputy deployed a taser. Jose shouts instructions as officers wrestle Mario to the ground. Samantha is so upset that the officer put her in handcuffs. Finally, the deputies remove Guzman from the courtroom. Guzman is charged with 3 counts of attempted assault and criminal mischief after a few of the officers suffered minor injuries. His bond was raised by another $2,500 for a total of $7,500. This is Nicholas Garrison. He's been convicted of possession of methamphetamine at a Highland County courthouse in Greenfield, Ohio. Deputies are taking the 34-year-old into custody. The deputies are soon going to have a taste of incredible speed. Within a flash, Garrison exits the courtroom and dashes out of the building. For those of you who didn't catch that, let's look at what happened again. Garrison waits until both deputies have their backs on him before making his run. He then splits the 2 officers, and a third can't keep up with his speed. Garrison hits the stairs as Deputy Ben Reno attempts to stop him, but he just slips past him and can break out of the courthouse to escape outside. For an alarming 4 days, Nicholas Garrison would evade police before being captured. He is now facing additional charges related to his courtroom breakout. Deputy Reno suffered 4 broken ribs and a minor concussion in his attempt to catch up to Garrison after diving into the stairwell, but eventually made a full recovery. This is Rainton Woodford. The 29-year-old was accused of violating the sentence of probation for drugs and weapon charges. Woodford is charged with 5 years in prison during his appearance in court at the Jefferson County Circuit Court. As the sentence is read, you can hear his girlfriend screaming and crying from behind. Wait until you see what happens next. Woodford's escape attempt is caught on camera when the judge leaves the camera on the empty chair of the detective who is testifying. The scene is recorded as he tries to run across the room and out, but to his surprise, he is stopped by the deputies and brought back inside the room. His escape attempt ends in a mess. This is Leonid Grazer. The 18-year-old is on trial in Moscow, Russia, for the murder of his sister Ariada Korol. The defendant alleges that Satan instructed him to dispose of his 21-year-old sister, whom he stabbed multiple times. In this clip, Grazer is behind the walls of a glass cage at the Sherbinsky courthouse. This practice is rarely seen today outside of Russia, to prevent dangerous criminals from attacking or possibly even escaping. Little do the officials know that Grazer is planning to do just that. At first, it appears that Grazer is calm, but moments later, he somehow slips through the slats at the top of the bulletproof security dock. The gap in the video doesn't show how he did it. If you look again, Grazer is ahead of the officers who might open the box to stop him. A police officer hits him, but he's not giving up. When the female officer approaches, she presses a large button on the wall calling for backup. During the escape, Grazer's pants were coming off. The officer is holding Grazer's leg with a firm grip and is not about to go. Then another officer comes in. These Russian officers are, at this point, not playing around. He ensures Grazer is aware of what is about to happen when the taser comes. Grazer has had enough of being a nuisance. After putting his pants back on, Grazer would go on to make a full confession of the murder and says that he has no regrets about it. This is Rashid Hawkins. The 33-year-old was recently sentenced to prison for failing to pay child support. This occurrence took place in Meigs County Courthouse in Decatur, Tennessee. One would seemingly think it was just another family court case until something shocking happens. He dips out of the second-floor courtroom before he can be taken into custody, drops by the reception desk, then makes his way to the exit. For any regular person, it wouldn't look like there's anywhere to run, so the deputy follows at a rather slow pace. After jumping over the second-floor balcony railing, Hawkins lowered himself and dropped by on an unsuspecting potted plant below. The deputy appears to be considering his options, but doesn't take Hawkins' route down. After the second-story drop, both Hawkins and the potted plant return to their original positions, as if nothing had happened. Then, Hawkins, who incredibly never lets go of the paperwork he's holding, simply disappears. From above, the deputy and others look around with shock. Below, a few people look out to see what's going on. Hawkins was a wanted man on the run for the next 20 days. But his disappearance came to an end more than 200 miles away when an officer responded to a trespassing complaint from neighbors who said that they saw a man in their backyards. According to the police report, Hawkins ran again to avoid being caught, but he was eventually caught after an argument with an officer. Hawkins was hit with a long list of new charges, including criminal trespassing, resisting arrest, and third-degree assault on a police officer, in addition to his outstanding warrant in Tennessee. Until his next court hearing, Hawkins is held without bail.